Good day, folks. Let's check out Ruby. Okay, so a couple of things. Ruby has some new variables associated with her Ruby controller script. First one will be deployable cover, so you'll check that out when I play the game. Speed is the same, so that's the same. With the projectile, so I have it so that when Ruby throws her cog at, and this, it's whatever the player character is, when Ruby throws the cog, does it make it so that the enemy like stops firing? So I have it by default, yes, so that if I go to, let's go to like one of my patrol enemies here, I'm gonna throw the cog at him, and then we're gonna go ahead and now the enemy won't fire. If you look at the enemy script, I also have it set up that all you would have to do to destroy an enemy would be to go all the way to the bottom. And I have it so that if you want to, at least for mine, that's on line 162. If you get rid of the comments on that code and then come back into Unity, if now when I fire a cog at an enemy, instead of just turning it off, it'll destroy that enemy. So that is something that you can really easily do just by getting rid of the 2 slashes at 162. The line on 160 will turn off the ability for the enemy to move. So that might be something you might want to play with. Cool. Alrighty. So we talked about the cogs. Let's check out now deployable cover. And it might be good to actually have the enemy firing. And I think I showed this in the enemy thing. So I have it by default. Z is going to deploy cover that you can use to intercept enemy bullets. Or sort of, basically mess with their patrol paths. I have it by default. Ruby has 3 max cover charges. I have 3 deployable covers. And then I also added in prefabs a really easy power up, which will set it up so that if Ruby runs out of cover, you pick that up, she's got more cover now. Okay, so sort of like one thing just to govern that. So that's sort of actually I'll keep that in the scene. Let's see what else is new with Ruby. Fire rate, health is the same. I recommend depending on your type of level, maybe setting this to like 50 or 20, something like that. The fire rate. Okay, so initially when we coded this, Ruby could fire as many times as you could press the button for her to fire. I set it up so that now this is going to be a counter. This is so that Ruby can only fire every 3 seconds. This will be something, if you would set it to 1, this would be so that she could fire every 1 second. So let's check that out. So now, and that's pretty cool. And I think if we would, and that's sort of an interesting thing you can play with. If you set it to 0, I think that should be just unlimited. Let's check that out. Yep, there we go. So that's pretty neat. Time invincible is self-explanatory with something we had worked with before, like how long should you have invulnerable. The only other thing, and I'm going to talk about this in the next overview, the one last part of Ruby that I have is on death. What happened, what scene is loaded, in case, and I'll talk about this more when it comes to the scenes overview. I have the lose screen coming up, and let's check that out. And again, we'll talk about this more in the lose screen. Oh, how much health do I have? I have 50 health right now. Anyways, we'll check that out in the scene thing. Enjoy, folks. Good stuff.